Welcome back to Gemstone Podcast, the hottest podcast in the game for millennials all around the world. I go by LP. I have Shy and Zach with me. Before we get started, make sure you follow us on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Pandora Podcasts, and Amazon Podcasts. We're on all platforms. If you want to send us fan mail, please do. You can send us fan mail at gemstonespodcast.com. That is gemstones at gmail.com. Okay, Shy. I know you got something on your chest, baby. Get it off.
Okay, hey y'all, how y'all doing today? Now I am a little bit, well, not a little bit, a bunch of bit under the weather. So y'all bear with me. I know y'all don't normally hear me sounding like a frog, but I giving frog today. Okay, so my topic for today is Beyonce and the cultural importance of Cowboy Carter. That's my topic. Let me repeat that. Beyonce and the cultural importance of Cowboy Carter. All right. So many of us might not know what Cowboy Carter stemmed from. Well, not gonna say it stemmed from. Part of the reason why she released Cowboy Carter was because a couple years ago, Beyonce was at the Country Music Awards. She performed with the Dixie Chicks. If you don't know about the Dixie Chicks actually did a political they did a political message a few years ago, and it kind of geared them the wrong attention from the conservative community of conservative country music. So they kind of were like not banished, but they were kind of like looked at as like outcasts in their community. So Beyonce actually performed with them at the Country Music Awards, and so she said that she received some not so good treatment when she was there, and so that prompted her to record this country album. If you didn't know, country music originated from Black people, African Americans. Just to give a few facts here. So, if you didn't know, Black people originated the sound, right? Country music, a lot of the instruments come from Africa, including so like just a few things. The basic simplification of the idea that was created by Black people is true, and the foundational contributors are undeniable, shaping the genre through instruments such as the banjo and melodies from African American from folk songs and hymns. So that's where country music comes from. It comes from African American folk songs and hymns. And musical innovation of countless Black artists whose influence was often marginalized and erased by history. Early Black musicians like DeFord Bailey, a harmonic virtuoso who integral to the genre's early development, and figures like Leslie Riddle helped shape the foundational styles, yet they faced immense racial barriers and lack of recognition within the emerging commercial industry. So prior to country music being commercialized, it was a white man who commercialized country music, but country music was originated from these artists. So just these are some key Black pioneers. I said DeFord Bailey, Leslie Riddle, Rufus T. Todd Payne, Arnold Schultz, and Ray Charles, right? Now Ray Charles, he's kind of on the end, like in the '60s, but they know him as a country pioneer as well, and we all know who Ray Charles is. So anyway, so yeah, so that's the origins of country music. So Beyonce is doing a trilogy album, right? It's a trilogy. So the first album was Renaissance, which is, it was a house music sound, a lot of the up tempo beats, a lot of LGBT influence from the first album. The second album was, so all three of her albums are going to be different genres. So the second album was a country rhythm and country with a little rhythm and blues. Old, not folktale music, but she did have a few songs on the album that was giving folktale vibes. But you could tell that she did her research before she recorded the album. And then the last album, which it hasn't been announced yet, but I ain't gonna say a blind man can see, but it's pretty obvious it's gonna be rock soul because Beyonce loves Tina Turner. So it's like, come on now, we know it's gonna be rock soul, because I think that's gonna in this trilogy of albums. But I think the last album's gonna be rock soul, and I think she's gonna tap into Black Betty, Tina Turner, also Linda Martell, which I'll get to that. Linda Martell is on Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album. But anyways, I'm skipping ahead. So let's start with the cultural importance of the album, right? So grossage wise, Cowboy Carter grossed over $400 million, right? Becoming the best selling tour and best selling grossing country tour of all time. Which ended up garnering her best album of the year, including best country album of the year. So with that being said, they were so heated that she got that award that they got rid of that award entirety. Like the whole committee came up with a solution and got rid of that award. So Beyonce Cowboy Carter grossed $407 million and sold 1.6 million tickets sold, making it the highest grossing country music tour in Billboard box score history. And it was the shortest tour with only 32 stops. It wasn't even a world tour, and she made that much money off that tour. Highest grossing country, shortest tour to reach $400 million, record breaking artist. So she just has broken so many records. So when I get into gross of the tour, I'm segueing into all the black businesses that gained that made money doing. Now there's this lady, right? She's a tax guru. Her name is Gwendolyn Wright. Shout out to Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn had a whole dialogue on Facebook about how all the black businesses in areas made, because so basically this tour was quote unquote a chitlin circle, right? That's why she only did 32 stops. So it was a chitlin circuit, right? So this lady
Excuse
named
me. What
Gwendolyn.
is a chitlin circuit?
A chitlin circuit is a term that African American artists used back in the day. Get the direct quote, but it's basically it is their version of a tour, but it's like black artists could not stop at major venues, so they would call it a chitlin circuit. Would it be like it'll be Zach's Ranch. I'm performing at Zach's Ranch. So any kind of, or I don't know if y'all saw the movie Sinners. Any kind of place like that where black artists could stop back in those times and perform their music, and for their audience to see, they would call it a chitlin circuit because black artists could not perform in places like NRG or AT&T Stadium or places like that. They would stop at these smaller venues amongst their own people and they would perform their music. So this is the definition. It's a network of performance venues primarily in African American communities where black musicians, comedians, and other performers entertain audience during Jim Crow era. So it's venues or places that you can go to. And then with small venues. So even though her venues were not small, they were stadiums. She kept it at 13 cities because I mean 32 stops because most chitlin circuit would be like 30 stops they would go. And back in the day, especially during Jim Crow, they would go like, if you on a chitlin circle, let's say you'll go Houston, Dallas, New Orleans, basically the black cities is where they would stop. Houston, Dallas, New Orleans, St. Louis, Atlanta, Detroit. They would stop in black cities. They probably pass up they'll pass up the rural towns and stop like maybe Birmingham, Montgomery, places like that. They would stop with large black populations in them. And when they get to these cities with these chitlin circuits, they would also have somewhere to stay. Because back in those times, hotels did not let us stay there. So they would have Mama Jean's Inn, which would be a local place for them to stay at. Mama Jean Diner, it'll be a local black business that would feed these people and also give them a hotel to stay in while they were down there on the Chitlin Circle on their tour. That's where chitlin circles come from. And a lot of notable artists started on chitlin circles, such as Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin, James Brown. They started doing chitlin circles, back in then because they couldn't, like I said, they were in segregation. So that's basically where it comes from. Now, black owned business that benefited. So, like I said, Gwendolyn Wright, she put a very good message out. She said, when Beyonce, she was like, this third era, when she comes back to your city, you're a black owned business, be prepared because you're missing money when these big artists come to your city and you're not prepared. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why. A lot of black owned businesses made money from Beyonce coming to town, especially the black owned and brown owned Western wear shops. Them people sold out because of Cardboard Quarter. Even our local owned restaurants in Houston, Taste Bar, All these places. Taste Bar catered Beyonce family and Cowboy Carter family for 2 days while they was down here. Taste Bar. That all of this brings on better sales and notoriety to black owned business. These are a few brands I wanted to mention that benefited from Cowboy Carter, black owned companies, fashion brands. One is Ken Apparel, MCD Boots, B Stone Western Wear, and I might say this wrong, but I think it's Monry. Monry. They were some of the highest grossing sales from the Cowboy Carter era. From the Cowboy Carter era. Also mentioned some of the businesses. They mentioned some of the businesses in Chicago, Houston, DC, places like that. That's super black. Like super black. We benefited a lot off of this tour. Our local restaurants, our local fashion people, our security people, our parking garages, our local bar. Even out here, I live in Houston. We had so many Cowboy Carter theme bars, Urban Social. Who else? Like I said, Taste Bar, The Spot. That's just a few to name. Sir Davis was flowing. I don't know if y'all ever had Sir Davis before, but Sir Davis is a good whiskey. And I don't even drink whiskey like that. But Sir Davis is definitely for the grown, cause that's for a grown man. It put some hair in your chest right there. But it's good. So we had so many different bars out here that was serving Cowboy Carter inspired cocktails that would draw the people in. You can go to this bar and have a drink or a restaurant or whatever, have a drink before the concert, eat. We had Beyonce inspired meal items and everything. Even there's a video circulating right now. Like I said, the Taste Bar catered the Cowboy Carter tour for Beyonce and her family. And Taste Bar is black owned, it's in Houston. Jay-Z he said he hadn't ate pork in like 10 years. And they had pork in one of the items that Jay-Z ate. And Jay-Z told the owner of Taste Bar, he was like, I ain't even mad that it had pork in there. That was so damn good. And there's a video circulating Jay-Z saying that. Ever since then, Taste Bar was busy already. Don't get that mistaken. Taste Bar be busy. But baby, since then, Taste Bar got a line now. Just because Jay-Z said it was so damn good, I didn't even care that it had pork in it. Okay. So, like I said, a lot of black businesses benefited off of Cowboy Carter. Anytime it's an artist such as Beyonce or Chris Brown or any of these big artists come to your city, if you have a black business or if you have a restaurant, a bar, make sure you have Cowboy Carter inspired drinks, Breezy Bowl inspired drinks, a menu catered toward. If you know Beyonce like lamb chops, have a specific item on the menu that says Cowboy Carter lamb chops or something like that can draw the people to come and patron with you prior to them going to the concert when it's big events coming to your city, especially if you're a black owned businesses. So shout out to all the local black owned businesses in my city of Houston, especially the businesses that own boot shops, any kind of Western wear. Shout out to the brown ones too, because I know they sold out as well. All right. So my next thing is the black country artists who benefited from Cowboy Carter. So a lot of black country artists were deeply overlooked. I think one of the only black country artists that even had a little recognition was Darius Rucker, right? The rest of them, you don't really, you know what I'm saying? They was really deeply overlooked. So here are a few that were on Beyonce's album, as well as these people been doing country music for a long time, but they was just, like I said, they had been overlooked. One person to note that was not on Beyonce's album was K Michelle. K Michelle has a country album coming out, but K Michelle has been doing country music for a long time. K Michelle went to college for yodeling. She had a whole scholarship for yodeling. Okay, Michelle, she's been a country artist for a long time, but she wasn't on the album. Okay, so here's a few artists that were on Beyonce's album that has benefited as well from Cowboy Carter. Shabuzi is a black country artist. He's a black man with some. He has wigs in his head. I don't know where he's from, but I think he's Nigerian if I'm not mistaken. And he does country music. And he's been doing country music for a long time. He sampled the song Tipsy. everybody in the club getting tipsy, and he got that song was real big. And Shabuzi been getting a lot of flack from these white country artists. I remember when somebody said, "Oh, so and so, we been." Yeah, he's Nigerian. I remember somebody said we been kicking Jabuzi in the back. Who says that over somebody that's getting just he's getting a little notoriety, and that you know what I'm saying. So he's been getting a lot of pushback from country music artists. The second person I want to mention is Tanner Adele. Tanner Adele, oh my God, Blackbird on Beyonce album is Tanner Adele's on there, and a few other artists on there. Tanner Adele, Britney Spears, and other people. That song is beautiful. It's called Blackbird, and Tanner Adele's on there. Tanner Adele is the country version of Beyonce. She's beautiful. She's all of these ladies are beautiful. But like I said, Tanner Adele's been doing country music for a very long time. And this Cowboy Carter era definitely put her on mainstream TV because I had never seen Tanner Adele on an award show prior to Cowboy Carter. Let me say that. Brittany Spencer, she appeared on Blackbird as well. Brittany Spencer, I have not seen her on mainstream TV or anything like that. Mind you, all these people performing with Beyonce during the Beyonce Bowl that she had last year at the NRG, when she had that concert for the Texans, they were all there as well. So Brittany Spencer, Tierra Kennedy, she was on Blackbird as well. Rena Roberts, she was on Blackbird as well. Willie Jones, he's on that song Just for Fun with Beyonce. I really don't know much about Willie Jones, but I know he's a black country artist as well. Like I said, that has not been getting enough recognition. Let me look him up. Okay, I do know Willie Jones. Willie Jones from Shreveport, Louisiana. He's a country artist. He was also on America's Got Talent. So yeah, I've seen him before. Let me fact check that. I have seen Willie Jones before. Attractive young man. He sing country music. His vocals are amazing. And Linda Martell. So Linda Martell is actually a country music pioneer. She's a black woman. She played in the Grand Opera before. She's also Beyonce sampled her on Cowboy Carter, and she's also talking on Cowboy Carter. If you heard that song on Cowboy Carter, and she says, "They're a funny little thing, aren't they?" That's Linda Martell. Linda Martell is 84 years old. She's the first black woman to be commercially successful female black artist in country music. Period. She's the first commercially successful black woman in country music. And so yeah, Linda Martell been through a lot as well. She's from South Carolina. She been through a lot being a black country artist. And she's never won a Grammy either. She's only been nominated for for performance wise. But no, she has a Grammy now because Cowboy Carter won best album. So everybody on this list got a Grammy now because of Beyonce, because of Cowboy Carter. All right. So yeah, those are people I wanted to mention. My last thing is, which I kind of talked about it already, was this next era for Beyonce, which I said is gonna be rock soul. I feel like it's gonna be rock soul. I feel like she's gonna dominate in rock soul. I feel like when she does this rock soul era, I don't think she's gonna get the same amount of pushback she got doing country music. Just because we've seen other artists do rock inspired music, such as Jay-Z. He has rock artists on his music, Mary J. Blige, Lil Wayne. A lot of our black artists have had rock influence on their music. So I don't think she's gonna get a big pushback. But I do think that the music is gonna be good. One of Beyonce's main producers is Raphael Sadiq. You don't know who Raphael Sadiq is? Look him up. Raphael Sadiq, I should have had him on my Mount Rushmore. That's one of my favorite artists. He's amazing. Raphael Sadiq, he's an amazing artist. He's one of her main producers on all of her albums. That's why the music be so good. Because Raphael Sadiq is on there. So I can't wait to hear the music. This rock soul era is going to be. That's why Beyonce is the greatest living artist of all time. This rock soul era, and knowing that Beyonce loves Tina Turner so much, I hope that I can see Beyonce sampling a Private Dancer, Tina Turner's Private Dancer song. I can see her sampling that. I can see her sampling a lot of Tina. It's a few of Tina's songs that Beyonce should be a sample for this album. If she does it, she doesn't, but she definitely should. And it's a lot of other rock soul artists that don't get recognition. Because we started rock music as well. If you didn't know that, black people pioneered Chuck Berry. is a pioneer of rock and roll music. So a lot of these genres that we've been shut out of, we pioneered it. So I'm happy that she is, she using her fandom, her power, and her influence to bring the light back on these genres of music that we pioneered. Because for a long time we have not got the credit and the recognition of being pioneers for said genres. We've been pushed off into other lanes and been told that we have to stay in a box, which we don't. Like I said, mentioning Chuck Berry, he's a pioneer of rock and roll music. So it's a lot of things that we've attributed to that we don't get recognition for. So shout out to Beyonce. I'm gonna wrap it up. I've been talking for a long time, went over my time, but like I said, she gonna dominate this rock era. This rock era, she gonna dominate it. I can't wait to hear. Everybody was saying Cowboy Carter album was a little slow. I ain't gonna lie. My first time listening to Cowboy Carter, I said this album a little slow for me. It's a little slow. It's too many ballads on here. But now I get it. She gave us house music. She gave us Cowboy Carter, which is a lot of ballads, a lot of love songs. This rock soul era, we gonna be up out of our seats and our ass gonna be on that floor bouncing. And I'm ready for it. It's gonna be the one. I got a feeling that Rock Soul album is gonna be the one. But okay, that's it.
Yeah, I just had to ask you about the chitlins one because that was funny when I heard you say it. Because I was like, wait, we talking about the food chitlins at that moment?
Well, that's another racial, you know, connotation toward us because, chitlins and stuff like that is what they gave
Mm-hmm.
us because they didn't want it. So that might be a part of the reason why they call it chitlin circle. Because it was, I wonder who gave us the name Chitlin Circuit. So you might be on to something with that too, because
Yeah,
they didn't eat they
the
didn't eat
chitlin
gumbo or
circuits.
chitlins and hog maws and hog head cheese. They gave that to the black people to eat because they didn't want to eat it. They was
Mm-hmm.
eating all the premium ham and the premium this and that. We had the chitlins, which mind y'all, I'm 32 years old. I have never had chitlins before. I
You
want to
missing
try
out
them.
on nothing.
Well,
You ain't
back
missing
then,
out on nothing.
a lot of famous artists started off in the chitlin circuit. And you had like Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin, James Brown, who all kind of started in the chitlin circuit because that was a network of performances and venues just for African American communities at that particular time, like for musicians, comedians, and any other entertainment. But that was during the Jim Crow era, when they started the chitlin circuit, quote unquote, aspect. If I'm not mistaken, I think on what's his name? He was with Cadillac Records. Man, I can't remember his name, but he was black, but they were shocked he was black.
You talking about
Um,
Chuck Berry? I just said his
Chuck
name,
Berry,
Chuck
yeah,
Berry.
yeah, 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 yeah. He did the chitlin circus too. And but a lot of white individuals would come because Chuck Berry, he had that sound where white, black, they always come and see us. He was in the chitlin circuit as well. So that's interesting, yeah. But
Yeah, because
so
nobody knew that Chuck Berry was black. So they
he
didn't have TV back then.
yep, and he liked them girls, them white girls. That's what got him in trouble. But with the Beyonce thing, with this trilogy album, I didn't know anything about that. That's interesting. She's doing the trilogy album. But with the country thing, the country music is very sacred. They don't really try to let blacks in like that. So I'm not surprised that she got the backlash she got from the country music genre. They don't really let blacks in like that. And I heard a few songs off that country album she made. It to me it sounded very country. It sounded very, very country to me. And, like you said, country music stems from jazz and gospel, which was created in the African American church back in slavery. So it's interesting that particular album that she did have at that particular time, it had a country sound. I thought it sounded more country than it should have sounded. It didn't really sound urban to me at all. It had a country sound, kind of like K Michelle has that country sound too now. But as you can see, it's hard for them to get recognized in the country music because for some odd reason, country music is quote unquote white America's music, but that's not the case. And she should have got and me, she should have been mentioned at least album of the year for that country music era, but just because of the record sales country music got, that genre got a lot of sales from her that year. But they didn't even give her the accolades.
She did. She won a Grammy for Best Album.
But she didn't get it recognized at the country musical.
No, they wasn't gonna recognize it at all.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. The Grammys, yeah, they're gonna recognize me. They always recognize Beyonce. She got plenty of Grammys. But when it came to the Country Music Awards, they did not recognize her at one bit. That's what I'm referencing. And I should have said that in the beginning, the Country Music Awards. She didn't get recognized at all. So we'll see what this Rock Soul album sounds like. Is she gonna go down that path of Tina Turner? I want to see what that looks like because Tina Turner, that's a hard act to follow now.
That's extremely hard. I do want to ask y'all one question though. What do y'all think about us not being in more country, even though we had such a footing in how country is developed today? And how do you feel about some of these new people that have started getting back into country?
You know, I said, I think in our previous segment that, you know, Big X has dropped a new album. You know what I'm saying? And it has a country vibe to it. With a little splash with a little hip hop. And it's fire though. I ain't gonna care. Big X he was on that thing spitting. Big X he been doing this thing. But that's just another way to this is my opinion. Protecting white privilege or white culture is something that that the powers that be is gonna make sure that they do. And to them, minorities have a hand in everything, whether it's food, fashion, entertainment, sports, academics, health, law. We can go down the pipe, education, whatever it may be. That's the one thing I think they want to keep sacred to their specific population. I'm going to say this, I've said it a few times in private conversation. For some reason, because Beyonce's not the first person to do country. Nelly did country too. He's actually been performing with country singers while they on tour. Some of they song. And he put out a country album. It also wasn't recognized at the Country Music Awards.
He ain't put no country album out.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Go look it up. Yes, he has.
Yeah, one song.
No, he had one of his previous albums that he just put out, maybe like a year, maybe 2 years, 3 years ago, was considered country. Yes, it was. I listened to it. I can't remember the exact name of it. It's called Dirty Something Dirty, but it's country. He also was not recognized as a country musical. They're not going to address or recognize minorities in country music because they want to keep it sacred for white America. When you think of country, what do you think? You think of rural areas. What do rural areas consist of? Rural areas consist of, quote unquote, they say, white people, but mostly white individuals. So they want to keep that going. So country is always going to be considered white America's pride. When you think about the quote unquote term American pie, that's always attached to some type of country tale, right? So there we go. Thank you, Zach. It's called Heartland. I was right. It's a country album. I said dirty something, but that was wrong. No, because you know what, Zach? When he dropped Heartland, I'm talking about Nelly. When he dropped Heartland, he came out with Moonshine too. And Moonshine is the country thing. So what's that? But it is minorities won't be recognized in country music. They want to keep it sacred to themselves. They want to keep it white. You know, that's America's music, and that's fine. They can do that. But what they need to, and I think the artists who do sing country understand and recognize that Blacks or minorities have a big impact when they do jump on a record with them. Just look at the album sales.
What y'all think about these country artists that are using hip hop beats? I like the music, me personally.
I love it. Morgan
There's
Wallen.
a lot of country artists that are using hip hop beats.
I didn't even know Morgan Wallen was white, so I started looking at the men because he was singing, bro. I thought he was black. Like, he's just singing like this.
I rock with it.
Them line dance songs.
And you know, Big X album he just dropped is called I Hope You're Happy, but it's considered, you know, it says hip hop rap, but everything on there is a country. It's country. It's country. If you listen to it, it's country. He has Davis Rucker on there, Jelly Roll, Bailey Zimmerman, Ella Langley, Luke Combs, Shabuzi, Inc., Tucker Whitmore, and Thomas Rhett. All country artists. But you see what they put his album as. Hip hop, rap.
Can I jump in real quick and ask this question? We all know that it's hard for blacks to get into country, right? The country genre. We could kind of say that country is the white genre and Zydeco is the real black country genre, you can say, possibly. What do you think about that?
What I think is messed up is when you
look at I agree with that.
When you look at an artist like Beyoncé, K. Michelle, who else has done country? Instead of saying country, they'll say soul. That's what they had put. They say R&B and soul.
But you know that Zydeco music is country, but it's still, it still has those soul. It's still like it's soulful though.
Yeah, it's soulful.
You got that beat that makes.
But I feel like country music was soulful originally. They just changed it,
Country music still has the same. Their core. They're synonymous. Zydeco and country is synonymous. If you put a Zydeco instrumental and a country instrumental together, you really wouldn't be able to tell the difference unless you're from that area. Like if you down from the South, from Zydeco and a Zydeco instrumental and a country instrumental, you really won't be able to tell the difference unless you from that.
I can't rock with you on that one. You can tell the difference in a Zydeco beat, bro. That mother come on, you know the difference. That big Pookie come on, boy.
We're from the South. If someone up north,
it don't sound the same.
I've heard it. I've heard it from individuals from New York. I've heard it from individuals from like Wyoming and Wisconsin. They see them as the same. We're from the South, so our ears are trained differently. That's a fact. Just like West Coast music, I kind of see it as the same. But they're like, no, Northern California got different music than Southern California.
Yeah, like, okay, I can see that. Well, for me, I feel like that. I see what you're saying because I feel like California music is different. I feel like Southern California music accent and Northern California accent is different. So
yeah. So that's me. That's how I see it. So we can tell the difference because we grew up in that area. We got a lot of family from deep down south, down there in Baton Rouge, Lake Charles, all those Appalachians, all those areas where that is.
You gotta make your voice more country when you say that.
Appalachians, that's country. But
we was right out the mud.
That is an Indian name.
That's country, though. That's an Indian name, but they country.
That's an Indian name.
We can hear the difference, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the music aspect of it to get back on track. So we can hear that.
You know what? I'm gonna do my ancestry one time.
We can hear that. But when it comes to country music, man, they're not gonna let minorities in. That's gonna continue to be a white only genre.
Which is sad, but I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that. I don't got no problem.
Me too.
Cause I enjoy my Zydeco. I don't need you coming over here messing that up right now.
They doing Zydeco too. You see them right there?
I mean, I see them dancing, but they ain't singing.
Well, I feel like I don't have no problem, like with us, doing our own thing. I just love the fact that we always prove that we can do it. We can do it better. That's it.
All right, y'all. Well, that's our show for today, man. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. I hope you enjoyed this talk. Hope you got some information out of this segment we had today. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe, and share. Please keep sharing this to all your friends and all your families. We want to keep growing with y'all and keep growing this family we have called Gemstones Podcast. Please remember to look to subscribe to us on Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and continue to look at our social medias. Social medias will be popping up soon. We got the one on Instagram. We got the one on TikTok. And YouTube, hopefully, will be coming here very soon. Just keep locked in with us, and we're going to let you know where to go. And remember to lock into us and send us emails so we can have y'all's fan mail at gemstonepodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's gemstonepodcast@gmail.com. We love y'all, and we signing out for the night.
Bye, y'all.